Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a core concept of the Django web framework, template tags. We're going to see how these little bits of code can take your web development from a repetitive grind to something dynamic, powerful, and way more efficient. Okay, so let's start with a problem I'm sure you run into. Picture this. You've built a website. Maybe it has 50 static HTML pages. Now it's time to update the copyright year in the footer. That means you have to open 50 different files, make that same tiny change, and save every single one. It is a total maintenance nightmare. So how do we get out of that mess? Well, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the leap from static to dynamic pages. Then, we'll get into the language of the templates itself. After that, we'll check out the most powerful tags for logic and reusing code, and we'll wrap it all up with why this is such a game changer for any developer. All right, let's kick things off by putting the old, painful way of managing websites side by side with the really smart solution that Django templates offer. So, over on the left, you can see the problem, right? Hard-coded, repetitive HTML. That navigation bar, the footer, it's all just copy-pasted everywhere. But on the right, that's the smart way. Django lets you define those things just once and then reuse them everywhere. This is the dry principle in action. Don't repeat yourself. It separates how things look from how they work, which makes your code cleaner and your life a whole lot easier. So how do these templates actually pull this off? Well, they use a special syntax called the Django template language, or DTL for short. It's designed to be super comfortable for anyone who knows HTML, but trust me, it is packed with power. The DTL really has three main building blocks. You've got variables inside the double curly braces, which are basically just placeholders for your data. Then you have filters, which you use with that pipe symbol, and they let you tweak how the data looks, like, say, making text all uppercase. But today, we're really focusing on the star of the show, tags. These are wrapped in curly braces and percent signs. Tags are the verbs. They're the engine that gives your templates real intelligence. Okay, let's see this stuff in action. We're going to look at two of the most essential tags for controlling what shows up on your page. These are the real workhorses of the Django template language. First up, the if tag. Just like in pretty much any programming language, this tag lets you put conditional logic right inside your template. You can show or hide whole chunks of HTML depending on whether some condition is true or not. And the syntax is just beautifully simple. It kicks off with @if ... and you always have to close it with @endif. And in between, you can use optional things like @else or @lif to handle all sorts of different scenarios. This is a perfect example of its power. The code on the left just checks if this athlete list has anything in it. If the condition is true, meaning, yeah, the list isn't empty, the first bit of HTML gets rendered. If not, the else block, that sorry message, shows up automatically. And this all happens without any JavaScript or complicated backend logic. Just a simple, easy-to-read tag. Okay, but what if you have a whole list of things you want to show, not just check if the list exists? Well, this is where the for tag becomes absolutely essential. It lets you loop over any sequence, a list, a bunch of data from your database, and it generates HTML for every single item. The structure is super clean and will feel familiar if you know Python. You define a loop variable, here it's athlete, and that represents one item from your athlete list on each pass of the loop. And just like the if tag, you have to close it, this time with end4. Now, what's really amazing about this is the efficiency. That simple little 4-line block on the left could generate a list with 2 items, 10 items, or 1,000 items. It dynamically creates a new list item for every single athlete in your data, pulling out their name and wrapping it in those LI tags. This is exactly how you build dynamic lists, tables, and photo galleries. So, logic and loops are great, but the real magic of that don't repeat yourself principle in Django comes from tags that were built specifically for reusing code. This is how you build big, maintainable websites without going crazy. This right here is probably the most powerful idea in the DTL, template inheritance. The extends and block tags are a team. You create a base template, sort of a skeleton, with all your common stuff, like the header, the footer, and the navigation. Then you define these named block areas that other templates can come in and fill. Think about it like this. On the left, you've got your master template, the frame of your whole website, and it has a placeholder, like a missing puzzle piece. On the right, you have the unique content for just one specific page. By using extends and block, you're just telling Django, hey, take this unique piece and fit it perfectly into the master frame. So your About page and your Contact page can both use the exact same frame, just with different content pieces. It guarantees a consistent look across your whole site. Now, while inheritance is for the big page-level structure, the include tag is perfect for smaller, self-contained components. Think about things like a sidebar, a login form, or that navigation bar we keep talking about. You write the code for that one component in its own file. And then, with just one single line of code, you can pull that entire component into any other template you want. If you need to update your navigation links, you just change it in that one file, navigation.html, and boom, the change instantly appears on every single page that includes it. This is dry at its absolute best. So we've looked at a bunch of different tags, if, for, extends, include. But why is this so important? Well, it all comes back to one of the most fundamental principles in all of software engineering. It all boils down to this one core idea. Don't repeat yourself, or DRY. Seriously, every single time you copy and paste code, you are creating a future headache for yourself. Django template tags are specifically designed to help you avoid that trap and write cleaner, better code right from the start. And the benefits are huge. Your code becomes so much cleaner and easier to understand. Site maintenance goes from being a total chore to a breeze. Your projects become more organized and they can scale to any size you need. Plus, by separating the design from the logic, you actually speed up your development time and make it way easier for teams to work together. Okay, so this is where Django really starts to shine. The library of built-in tags is massive, and it covers most of the things you'll ever need to do. But what if you need something really unique, something very specific to your app? Are you stuck? Nope, not at all. The template engine is completely extensible. You can use Python to write your very own custom tags and filters to do, well, pretty much anything you can imagine. This just opens up a whole new world of possibilities, letting you create specialized tools that are perfectly tailored to your project's needs. It means that Django's template system can grow with you, no matter how complex your challenges get.